closer look at how Boko Haram became a regional threat in 2014. The most talked about movie of the month finally gets a release date. And one of Hollywood's heaviest hitters ends his 18-year marriage. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. As 2014 draws to a close, the Nigerian militant group Boko Haram is intensifying its 5-year insurgency and is targeting civilians in large numbers. It's also seizing more territory in the country's northeast. The kidnapping of nearly 300 Chibok schoolgirls in April sparked global outrage, but it has failed to become the turning point against the terror group. As viewers and look reports, the picture at year's end is one of devastation and uncertainty.
Human rights groups say Boko Haram killed more than 2,000 people in just the first half of 2014. That's about as many as were killed in the previous 4 years of the insurgency combined. In the northeast, Nigerians mourn the dead and the disappeared. 219 Chibok schoolgirls remain missing. Boko Haram grabbed the girls from their dormitories in April. It woke the world up to terror in northeastern Nigeria. Twitter hashtag #BringBackOurGirls trended globally. The movement still holds daily rallies in Nigeria. In 2014, insurgents seized towns and villages. They burned, looted, and slaughtered. Fighting had displaced more than 1 million civilians by year's end. Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau declared a caliphate, a claim analysts say is more aspirational than actual at this point, but militants continue to advance. The movement continued bombing in 2014 as well, with 3 major suicide attacks in the month of November alone. A boys' school in Potiskum, at least 47 killed. A mosque in Kano, at least 120 people killed there, and twice as many wounded. A market in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, the work of 2 female suicide bombers, at least 45 dead.
These lunatics are doing is completely at variance with the teachings of Islam. They are plain, raving lunatics. And I believe the hottest place in hell will be reserved for these madmen.
The Emir of Kano called for citizens to arm themselves.
We should not wait for soldiers to come. Before they come, the carnage will have been done. Some of them drop their guns and flee.
The military showed signs of strain in 2014. In all, 66 soldiers were sentenced to death for mutiny in the northeast. Cameroon went on the offensive following Boko Haram attacks on its side of the border. Analysts see 2014 as the year Boko Haram became a regional threat. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan is trying to get re-elected in February. The war grinding on in the northeast sets an ominous stage for that vote. Ann Look, VOA News, Dakar.
In East Africa, conservancy in Kenya is home to 3 extremely rare rhinos pushed to the edge of extinction by man-made threats. VOA East Africa correspondent Gabe Josler reports on last efforts to save this species.
Meet Najin, a northern white rhino, one of only 5 left in the world. Get to know her now, the furry fringe around her ears, her squat legs, because within our lifetimes, the northern white rhino could be gone forever. Mohammed Doyo, head keeper in charge of these rhinos at the Old Pajeta Conservancy in Kenya, says conflict has pushed this grouping to the brink of extinction.
This animal, they are originated in Congo, a place called Garamba, northern Congo. They were hiding themselves in the long grass, not like southern white rhino, you can find them in open place. They like the long grass and hide themselves there. People fight against the tribalism in Congo. Start killing this animal, they couldn't have anything to eat. They use as a food.
The animals here are heavily protected against the ever-present threat of poachers that has decimated all types of rhinos worldwide. The killing is driven by Asian demand due to the mistaken belief that the horns have medicinal properties.
I used to pet them behind the 2 legs like this and put them down and I cut that horn today a little bit, tomorrow a little bit, After 1 week, I put that horn down. And we cut that horn purpose of security. Poachers kill our rhino because of the horn.
The population of this particular subspecies is dwindling fast. One of the rhinos here unexpectedly died in October. A zoo in the U.S. city of San Diego lost another in mid-December. But there is still one last northern white hope. This is Sudan. He is 41 years old, and he is the last male northern white rhino on the planet. His past attempts at mating were unfortunately unsuccessful, so now conservationists are going to try a process of artificial insemination to try to save the species. The plan is to artificially impregnate a young, fertile female or to use a southern white as a kind of surrogate mother. If that fails, then they may turn to crossbreeding to widen the gene pool.
You know, it's about preserving those genetic traits which confer upon the northern white as a species or a subspecies, whatever you want to call it, the ability to live in Central Africa with all of the disease and habitat challenges that presents. Those genetic traits could be preserved as part of a hybrid with a southern white. But as long as they're there, then one day, hopefully, maybe in 100 years' time, we'll be able to reintroduce rhinos into that part of Africa.
It might be a long shot, but at the moment, it is the only chance to keep these rhinos from disappearing forever. Gabe Joselo, VOA News, Kenya.
The rebel-held areas of Sudan's Nuba Mountains have been under blockade since the start of the civil war in 2011. The Sudanese government has been denying all access for food, supplies and humanitarian aid. Adam Bales visited the only hospital in the region and says deaths from preventable illnesses are on the rise.
Mother of Mercy Hospital is the only medical facility in all of South Kordofan. The 80-bed hospital runs at triple its capacity. The staff is currently dealing with a large-scale measles outbreak, with more than 1,000 admissions for measles alone, and a 25 per 1,000 measles-related fatality rate. Nurse Maizub Hassan says many more cases are assumed to be undetected in rural villages.
This is when the measles become serious to the hospital. So every day we do receive almost sometimes 20 admission, 10 admission in a day. And it is really very, very dangerous here. But the bigger problem here we first is the vaccine. We don't have vaccine at all.
For 3 years, Sudan's government has refused to let humanitarian aid into rebel-controlled areas. As a result, vaccine supplies were cut off, leaving the whole community here unvaccinated, and thousands of children at risk of dying from otherwise preventable diseases. Nurse Hassan also checks the young children for signs of malnutrition. He says at least 40% of these children are malnourished because of poor access to food.
Also when the mothers are not feeding children well, and sometimes also caused by sickness also. But mostly it's because it's a lack of food. They are giving food which has the balanced diets.
In addition to the blockade, Sudan's government has been accused of targeting civilians, hospitals and aid convoys, destroying the little resources left in this cut-off region, though the government denies all allegations. Clinical officer Morsal Saeed says many are injured, but the hospital lacks enough supplies to treat them all.
Since the war started in 2011, we had a lot of patients of being wounded, whether being gunshot, Antonov, jet fighter. Okay, if just we talk particularly in this year, this 2014, probably we can meet almost about 300. 300 of this just of 2014.
Just outside the hospital, villagers constantly watch the skies looking for planes. Children play in foxholes. Every shopkeeper has their own dugout to hide in. Just a few weeks ago, 6 young children were killed in a single missile strike in a market just like this one. 11-year-old Nawal was the only survivor. 5 of her brothers and sisters were killed. Nawal's mother, Nairiz Osman, says she was away when the bombs fell.
When I came home, I saw my 5 children just dead on the floor, and my daughter here was wounded. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I was out of my mind. I could not believe what had happened. And that day, I decided to come here and stay in Gidal.
Ambulance driver Amir was one of the first people to arrive at the scene. He shows us a picture of the house after the bomb hit.
I feel so bad. I don't have the power to do anything. I just pray.
The Enough Project, an anti-genocide group, says Sudan's regime continues to use the denial of humanitarian aid as a weapon of war. Without open humanitarian corridors, the Nuba Mountains remains cut off from the outside world, and the region's only hospital is left struggling to cope. Adam Bales for VOA News, Dilami County, Sudan.
Police in Beckley, Missouri say an officer shot and killed an armed black man early Wednesday morning. A police spokesman for Beckley, a suburb of St. Louis, says the officer encountered two men during a routine check at a gas station. The spokesman says one of the men pointed a gun at the officer, prompting the officer to open fire. The second man fled the scene. Beckley borders the town of Ferguson, where 18-year-old Michael Brown, an unarmed black man, was shot and killed during a street confrontation with a white police officer earlier this year. Former U.S. President George H.W. Bush is resting in a Houston, Texas hospital on Wednesday. A spokesman for the 90-year-old Bush says the former president was taken to Houston Methodist Hospital after experiencing shortness of breath. The 41st U.S. president and father of former President George W. Bush was admitted to the same hospital in December 2012 for treatment of a bronchitis-related cough before being released 7 weeks later. The White House released a statement saying President Barack Obama, who is vacationing in Hawaii, has been informed of the elder Bush's illness. The statement said Mr. Obama and his wife Michelle send their good wishes to the ailing Bush and the entire family. George H.W. Bush served as president from 1989 to 93. He spent the previous 8 years as Ronald Reagan's vice president. We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, as the Sony hacking story widens, the interview finally gets a release date. Stay with us.
I am Shaka Sali, host and senior editor of VOA's international call-in talk show, Straight Talk Africa.
Today we'll examine the tobacco industry.
We pretty much touch on anything that you can think of. Politics, health issues, human rights issues, you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent. A very, very rare and unique opportunity to interact with their leaders.
Wherever you are, Voice of America is on air, reaching more than 130 million weekly, worldwide, in more than 40 languages. Online, social media, and breaking news from around the world. On the go, dozens of new features on popular platforms with new apps and trending topics. Voice of America, on air, online, on the go.
Happy holidays
from VOA.
VOA의 পক্ষ থেকে শুভ নববর্ষ।
Happy holidays from VOA.
VOA.
Happy holidays from VOA.
VOA की जानिब से नया साल मुबारक।
Happy holidays from all of us here at VOA.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Officials at Sony Pictures have reversed course, and the interview, the film that makes fun of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, will now be available at a limited number of theaters starting on Christmas Day. The studio withdrew the comedy from release last week after major theater chains refused to show it. As VOA's Michael Sullivan reports, the story continues to unfold like a movie with a complicated plotline.
The promotional banners came down as Sony executives explored other avenues to get their film out. Theater chains that initially refused to run the movie following threats from the hackers were rethinking it. The comedy starring Seth Rogen and James Franco is about a fictional plot by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency to kill the North Korean leader using 2 journalists.
Take him out.
You want us to assassinate the leader of North Korea?
Yes.
Hollywood celebrities spoke out on social media sites like Twitter against Sony's initial decision to withdraw the film from theatrical release. Even President Barack Obama joined the criticism of Sony, but saved his harshest words for North Korea.
Somebody is able to intimidate folks out of releasing a satirical movie. Imagine what they start doing when they see a documentary that they don't like, or news reports that they don't like.
Political scientist Stanley Rosen of the University of Southern California studies Asian cinema, and he saw the interview at a Hollywood preview.
It's funny at a certain level. At the same time, you can see why it would be so offensive to North Koreans, and not just North Koreans, but perhaps Asians in general.
Rosen says the film is a parody of a humorless regime and an insecure leader who is worried about regime change.
And they're convinced that that's the major goal of the United States. This is why they want some treaty where the United States will acknowledge that they accept the leadership in North Korea. So we know that much about North Korea, and this film is all about that.
Whoever was behind the Sony breach, corporations are increasingly the target of sophisticated hackers, says Feng Min Gong of the high-tech security company Cyfort.
Now you have more actors coming to the scene, right? It's no longer the hackers for the fame, but it's people strictly for financial gain and for stealing corporate and state secret. So what that means is they have a lot of resource. They're going to take their time.
And they are hard to detect. President Barack Obama has promised to respond to the breach, and many wondered if a 10-hour internet outage in North Korea Monday could be part of that response. U.S. officials would not confirm or deny a role in the attack, and China, another possible source of the outage, denied involvement. Hollywood, meanwhile, is awaiting the next chapter in the story. Mike O'Sullivan, VOA News, Los Angeles.
Well, this summer, 500 fellows from President Barack Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative visited the U.S. to study in management, leadership and entrepreneurship. One of them is Ivory Coast's Alfred Daniel Romerick Nedry.
Business and entrepreneurship was my track when I was in Clark Atlanta University for the 6 weeks training.
It's a course directly related to the production of the unit.
So they empower us in how to run business, our businesses, how to be efficient in the marketing, in the accounting, okay, of the very small businesses.
Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, those are the big ones.
And this helped me a lot because I discovered new skills. My name is Andre Alfred Denny Romerick, and I come from the Ivory Coast in West Africa. I'm the managing director of the MCC, that is the Modern Chemistry Company. My job is to manufacture cleaning products, liquid soap, bleaches, deodorant as well. And because I decided to start that business because having a good environment and also a good health is a big issue in our continent, in our country. You know, just recently you heard about the Ebola outbreak and also some other diseases that can be prevented only by having a good hygiene.
We've kind of taken Afri under our wing, and every event that we're doing, we invite him to go along, and he's been meeting people in the business communities, our business resource partners. I think Afri is learning a lot about partnerships, and that's what we rely on a lot within the business community to help small businesses grow.
I had a huge challenge in my country, that is to take some very small businesses from the informal sector to the formal sector. And this office is the best because they train me how to do it, how to run companies, and then how to get found and succeed. So I'm planning to do the same in my country back home, to establish a very small business administration just to help the very small business owners to start, grow, and succeed. I used to mentor young people back home in my country to help them get a job, because I'm a trainer. I used to give them education on entrepreneurship, and for those who look for a job, I used to show them how to prepare themselves. One of the things that I will keep doing when back home is to share all the skills I acquired here with so many young people in my country, because there are plenty of them are waiting for me. At least 500 to 1,000 are waiting for me, because I used to work with them in the different NGOs. So I will share, and I will keep you posted.
Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54. Well, that's a wrap. An Oscar winner and his wife finalized their divorce. We'll be right back.
As having a number of cancellations, so that is very worrying.
If somebody enters a place and is behaving in a way that is suspicious, raise an alarm, call the police, and we shall be there.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Well, it's been quite a week for calling it quits in marriage department. Well, first the Jenner said, I don't. And now Clint Eastwood is officially divorced. The Oscar winner and Dina Eastwood have finalized their split, according to papers filed in a Monterey County Superior Court on Monday. The pair were married in 1996 and have one daughter together. The actor also has 6 other children. People magazine confirmed the split in August 2013, and the couple had already been living apart for some time. Well, next up, Let It Go. No.
It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me.
Well, if you have children or know someone who does, or just listened to one recently, the choice of Associated Press Entertainer of the Year won't come as much of a shock. It's Frozen. Although the animated film opened late in 2013, the story of Elsa, Anna, Olaf, Kristoff, and Sven easily outpaced other vote getters like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Pharrell Williams. Frozen has earned Disney more than $1 billion at the box office worldwide, becoming the most successful animated movie of all time. And finally, he is used to beating all challenges and challengers, but life's become tough for Superman. Well, he's now negotiating the busy streets of Cairo. This imagining is the work of a young Egyptian photographer, Hassan Atef, whose photos of an actor in the superhero's costume dealing with the daily struggles of life in Egypt's capital been proving a hit on Facebook. Ate says he's trying to highlight how difficult life is for the ordinary residents of Cairo. Egyptians are struggling with high food prices and trying to find jobs. He says superheroes would not be able to survive here. And that is what is trending today. Well, each December in the eastern U.S. state of Maryland, a large crowd gathers along the harbor in historic Annapolis to enjoy the festive and colorful annual boat parade of lights. A holiday tradition for 32 years, illuminated boats decorated with winter holiday themes circle the harbor. VOA's Deborah Block took in the holiday cheer on board one of the boats.
On this beautiful winter night, people gathered at the city dock to watch the boats motor out to the harbor. Alexandra Jones and her husband brought their 3 small children.
It's our first boat parade, so it's extra exciting because it's boats and Christmas and a parade all at once.
The boat shimmered with an imaginative variety of holiday and nautical themes, from a polar bear to a palm tree with a jumping dolphin. Boating, especially sailing, is popular in Annapolis, which was a lively seaport in the 1700s. It's located on the Severn River that flows into the Chesapeake Bay, the country's largest estuary. Sharon Schilt comes to the parade from her home in neighboring Pennsylvania year after year with boating friends.
It's just really about a celebration about life and a celebration of the holiday.
The holiday spirit is in full swing on Todd Croteau's boat, festooned with a mermaid angel combination he calls a merm angel. The architect designed and created the unique display.
The merm angel is actually laid out on chicken wire. It was laid out in the yard and then zip tied to the chicken wire, and then after it's all put together, it's rolled up and then hoisted up the mast, just like a sail.
He's had the merm angel in the parade for 11 years and says it's a great way to start the holiday season.
You get to share your talents and your creation with everybody in Annapolis and share the holiday spirit. And I like having all my friends on the boat to experience it with me, and the kids are on the boat singing.
Including his daughter Geneva, who is singing holiday songs with her friends and having a great time.
I have my best friend here, and the lights are really festive.
Dana Leadholm is on a parade boat for the first time.
It's exciting, and you feel like you're, sort of giving joy to the people who are watching.
And with waves and smiles, the crowd shows its appreciation. Deborah Block, VOA News, Annapolis, Maryland.
Well, and that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight, at 1800 UTC, and in the mornings to Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching from all of us here in Washington. Have a good night. We are able to touch on things that are important to people on an everyday basis. Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. In a lively half hour, news, sports, health, lifestyle information, comments from our viewers. Africa 54, the best for Africa, about Africa. Join us only on VOA.